The Nintendo Wii U may not have achieved the sales numbers that Nintendo had hoped for, but I still found a lot of enjoyment with the system. In fact, it's one of my favorite consoles Nintendo has ever put out. The first-party games that came out on it are excellent, which seems to be something people agree with, because many of the best-selling Switch games are indeed actually ports of Wii U games. I've talked about the Wii U before and the reasons it didn't succeed, but that's not the topic of this video. If you want to get started getting into the Wii U, then this video is the right place. We'll talk about hardware, games, and accessories, and by the end of the video, you should have a good overview of what the system is about and what sort of unique experiences you can get from it that you can't get with any other system, the Switch included. Also, I can hear people type emulator as we speak. There's always several people who mention emulation, which is fair enough, but that's not really the point of this video. We're talking about the actual console. As usual, hardware is what we're going to take a look at first. Thankfully, things are quite easy in that department since Nintendo never changed anything up. There's two models with the difference between them being storage space. The basic bundle has 8GB of storage, while the deluxe or premium bundle has 32. You can simply expand storage by plugging a storage device into one of the USB ports. So it doesn't matter too much which version you get these days. Unfortunately, Nintendo decided to make the basic systems white and deluxe systems black. I wish they didn't tie different storage capacities with specific colors, because if somebody wants a certain color and it's only available on the lesser model, or maybe vice versa, what if they can't afford the more expensive one, but they would like to have that color, right? But hey, what can you do? The Wii U has some interesting hardware characteristics. It's the only 8th gen system to feature analog out, so you can use stuff like SCART or component cables if you want. And you may want to because it does play Wii games. So if you got a really cool CRT kicking around, then there you go, you're set. It's quite a bit smaller than its competitors, and you can orient it vertically or horizontally for maximum flexibility. It has an SD card slot for things like save games, but most importantly, there's the gamepad. It needs the console to operate, but the console doesn't always need the gamepad. In practice, you could think of the Wii U as a tethered Switch. It's funny to see how logical the progression is between the Wii U and the Switch in hindsight. While you can play many games without the gamepad, like I do with Mario Kart 8 for example, the gamepad is necessary if you want to change system settings. I'm not sure why they artificially restricted the settings onto the gamepad screen, but hey, it's not like they'll change it now. Compared to the Switch and its Joy-Con, the Wii U has the same buttons and joysticks as the Wii U Pro Controller. Obviously, it's not a completely portable system, so kinda makes sense that they used full-sized parts there. There's also a built-in IR blaster so you can control basic aspects of your TV. There's a camera, which I'm pretty sure I've never used in my life. The touchscreen is an old-school resistive type like a DS or 3DS has, and the stylus is housed in the unit. The image on the gamepad is a little bit delayed compared to what you'd see on a TV or monitor. It's not too bad, but I did notice a bit of delay on games that rely on timing, and I confirmed it when holding the gamepad up to the TV. There's also compression artifacts which are visible. Makes sense since it's an image that's being streamed from the console to the gamepad. In practice, it does work quite well though. There's also a few accessories to look at. The Wii U actually came with a few handy ones if you got the deluxe edition. There's two types of stands. The first just holds the gamepad upright, while the other is more like a dock and accepts an AC adapter for charging. There's also some feet which you can use for verticalness. This stuff, unfortunately, did not come with the basic bundle. I would highly recommend getting a Pro Controller. Basically, it's like the gamepad without the tablet functions. Unlike the gamepad also, which only has 3 to 5 hours of battery life, the Pro Controller has 80 hours of battery life, which is pretty incredible. So even when the battery starts degrading over time, you're still going to have decent battery life for a long time. Also worth getting is Wii stuff. You know, the usual Wiimotes, nunchucks, that sort of thing. Accessories that plug into the remote also work when playing Wii games. You can also get some rubber bands or shoelaces if you want to use the Splatoon bondage controller combo. There's also that GameCube adapter so you can use GameCube controllers. If you want to go Ethernet, there's also USB Ethernet adapters you can use for extra network reliability. High capacity batteries exist for the gamepad. There's third and first party options available. Because the Wii U is Wii backwards compatible, there's something I want to mention. The Wii U isn't great when it comes to upscaling 480p images. There are devices like the Marseille M Classic that can upsample the image well. I made a video about the device because the company sent me one. It does a really good job, but at $100 US, it's not exactly the cheapest thing ever. But if you're really into playing Wii games, then it may be worth it. When it comes to games, the Wii U isn't exactly known for its third-party releases, not that there aren't any, but often developers decided to not bother with ports, and if they did, optimization wasn't usually great. The experience is consistently good with Nintendo games though, no real surprise that they made sure that their own games work on their own consoles. Many successful Switch games are ports of Wii U games, which really shows you how good the games are. Mario Kart 8, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, New Super Mario Bros. U, Donkey Kong Country, Tropical Freeze, and Hyrule Warriors are some that come to mind. As a Wii U owner, things were a bit frustrating at first because so many of Nintendo's Switch releases were ports of games I already had, but I get why they did that. There's still some exclusives left though. One of the biggest ones for me is Super Mario 3D World. It may be my favorite 3D Mario game ever. There's something about the level design that is very unique to the game. It feels like a good combination of 3D and 2D elements. There's also clever moments where other Nintendo franchises are referenced. And if you're one of those people who like to explore, stages and collect a lot of things, then you're going to be right at home here. There's a lot to collect, like stars and stamps. Some other games I'm also quite fond of are the HD remasters of the Wind Waker and Twilight Princess. The games look great while still retaining the feel and look of the originals. Not to mention how they play as well. Actually, the Wii U is a great place for Zelda fans. I made an entire video about which consoles can play the most Zelda games, and the Wii U came in at 12. 4 physical games, which are the 2 I just mentioned, Skyward Sword and Breath of the Wild, while the rest can be purchased in the eShop. I should also mention that the Wii U is the only console that Nintendo ever put out that can actually play DS games. Well, other than the DS, of course. So, of course, the top screen would be the TV and the bottom screen would be the tablet. Another exclusive that is well received, though I have no experience with it, is Xenoblade Chronicles X. With the release of the original Xenoblade Chronicles on the Switch, it may not be an exclusive forever, but who knows. Splatoon is worth checking out, even if you've played the second game. I played the second game first myself, but I still enjoyed going back. The experience is in many ways similar, but I enjoyed going through the story and it provides insight on the second game's story as well. Like with Mario Kart 8, online is still very active. I had no problems getting into matches or anything like that. Those are just some of my recommendations. Since the Wii U is Wii backwards compatible, there's an entire extra library of great games to go through as well. Something I haven't delved into is modding. I know it can be done and it's something I'd like to look into. One of the big reasons is that it's possible to enable GameCube compatibility. That I'd really like. The reason that works is because the GameCube, Wii, and Wii U are related hardware-wise. In the Where to Start Wii video, I mentioned that the Wii U is a great alternative for the original Wii if you want HDMI out, but for some reason I got criticized by multiple people for suggesting that. Someone even sarcastically mentioned that I should make a Where to Start video on the GameCube, and then suggested the Wii as a hardware option. It's like, yeah, I did do that in 2018 actually. I mean, it's a legitimate recommendation, especially if you want component out. That's like the cheapest way. Heaven forbid I mention all the possible hardware options. The internet is a strange place. So, that is the Nintendo Wii U. I hope you enjoyed this overview of the system. The Wii U is still one of my favorite systems Nintendo has come out with, so I'm always happy to talk about it. If you like the video, please consider supporting the show. There's a Patreon, there's a channel membership thing, there's shirts and stuff. Links to everything are in the description. Thanks for watching and I'll see you again in the next video.